Hey everybody, welcome to Planetary Awareness. My name is Dave Mascatello, and I'm here to share with you my experience with traveling around the country, going on tour, and having to come back and basically integrate my experience into my everyday life. I'm in the last couple hours of 2017 here, and I'm doing a lot of reflection on what this year was like and what my intentions are for 2018, and what I would like to do is just basically have more peace and creativity in my life for 2018, and I feel that I was able to do that quite a bit this year. Ultimately, I had to find myself and find my path and try different things and take risks. However, it all paid off because I am who I am today through my experience, and I'm grateful for that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about astral projection and how that has had an impact on me. Before going on tour, I didn't really know that astral projection was a real thing 100%. I kind of knew it was something people tried to experience and maybe had glimpses of, but I didn't really know how deep you could really go with it, and that it is really as real as anything else that you can experience. I set off on a month-long tour, which actually extended into more like 6 weeks, and I called it Dave's Astral Projection Tour. I traveled around 14 different states. Actually, throughout the whole year, I traveled to 25 different states. During this tour, I went to about 14, and I went from one city to the next, and also went into the complete wilderness as well. So I'd go from San Francisco, the city, into Mount Shasta, which was complete wilderness. The next day, and I'd go from place to place. I traveled to Sedona, I traveled to Asheville, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, all these different places, and experienced all these different energies, and basically adapted to these different environments, and it was quite a journey, playing my music in all these different places, going to all these different restaurants, meeting all these different people. And it was a bit intense, actually. And through that, I was able to, tune into my body, to tune into different frequencies and vibrations, and really was able to expand my consciousness through lucid dreaming as well. I did a video on that. You can check that out as well. And through the lucid dreaming, through the meditations I did as well, and playing music, I was able to get into a space where I could start astral projecting. Now, it started off slow, where basically before I'd go to bed, I'd kind of visualize a different landscape, whether it was a mountain or a river or something like that, and I'd physically feel like I was there, right? So, and I'd visualize it too, I'd actually see the mountain, and it'd be like I was there, I like the Grand Canyon, like I didn't even go there, but I sort of like envisioned it and felt like I was there. It was very interesting. Yet still very mild experiences, right? Kind of just opening up these doors of consciousness, and doing this, before I went to sleep, where I was kind of in that, tired, winding down theta state, where I was just in a different state of consciousness, and I was able to break into something. Now, as my tour progressed, I was able to continue, with the lucid dreaming And when I got up to Seattle, Washington, I had an experience where I did leave my body, and I was flying over rivers and mountains, and I went into outer space, and I saw the globe, I saw the world, the earth, rotating, and yeah, I mean, it really was a real thing. My consciousness just surrounded the globe, and I was kind of startled, actually. I was caught off guard. I didn't really expect that to happen. I was kind of like a pilot, like flying around just without having trained, basically, if you can imagine that. And I kind of was like, all right, this is pretty wild. And I got back in my body and went on with my day, my evening. And I didn't really expect to have these kind of real experiences. They just sort of happened. And I think it started where I set my intention to have these experiences before I went on tour. I visualized it. I created a flyer. I named my tour Dave's Astral Projection Tour. And I really did have these experiences, and it was pretty wild. Now, what really baffled me was when I came back from my tour, I had another experience, and this time it was as real can get. I went to sleep, actually, and this happened in my sleep when I was in a lucid dream, and I felt myself basically rising up out of my body. Like physically, I could feel myself as if I was on an elevator, rising up, and I just popped right out of my head, and my consciousness was outside of my body, and I was flying. I was like flying around the room, and I saw myself, and yeah, it was out of body astral projection experience inside of a lucid dream. And I quickly realized I needed to get back in my body, and I got back in my body, and then I woke up soon after, and I was astonished that I had that experience, because people joke around about astral projection, and it's kind of a funny thing when I came out with my flyer and all this, but it's real, man. It's incredible how much we can explore our consciousness and just realize that we are these spiritual beings having this human experience. You've heard it before, it's so cliche, but it really is true, that we're more than just these bodies. There's so much more we can explore. So I had these experiences. They were wonderful experiences. They opened my mind to just be more open to whatever happens in meditation, and realizing I don't have to force these experiences to happen. I can just keep doing these practices, daily meditations, yoga, eating healthy, clean, and these things can happen, and all I have to really do is just set an intention. I don't have to force them to happen or try to control it or whatever. I don't have to master it either. This is a process, right? Everybody's on their own path. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was basically grounding. How do I stay grounded? Because what happened was when I came back from my tour, I was basically kind of all over the place, and I didn't really know what I should be doing. I knew I should go back to the daily routine of working and stuff, but I'd breaken free from the average work sleep cycle, just my environment. I just been into so many different environments and places around the country that I didn't really have like such a solid foundation anymore. So coming home was a little bit weird. However, how I got back into a routine and got back into, hanging out with my friends again, connecting, and just sort of having life be a little bit more simple was actually gardening. I came back, it was late fall, and weather was still pretty nice, and I got right into the garden, got my hands in the soil, started planting trees, started spreading mulch and weeding and harvesting what was left of the crops, and I really, really felt again connected with the earth and felt grounded. Whereas like touring and traveling and the astral projection, it really kind of took me out there into the cosmos, and I had to come back down and get grounded and get back into a regular kind of routine, exercise routine, going and hanging out with friends, business meetings, stuff like that. And the gardening really, really helped. Another thing was actually tobacco. I don't smoke cigarettes, but sometimes I smoke cigars, and as well as ceremonial tobacco. And smoking some tobacco really did help to be grounded. It is a sacred herb plant that was used by the Native Americans for thousands of years, and that for me really helped ground me. And I didn't have to smoke it a lot, just a couple times to kind of get my feet back on solid ground here. And I got my salt lamp, which is amazing. This is actually from the Himalaya mountains, from Pakistan, 500 feet in the earth. This is pulled out from, and just having this here and, and feeling it, touching it, seeing it. I don't know, for me, I believed it helped ground me. Another thing was really getting back into more of a clean diet. I ate really well, I would say, while I traveled. However, I'd kind of go off tangents and eat, this or that. But coming back here, I was able to get a little more solid with what I was eating, and eating root vegetables, especially, carrots and beets and stuff like that. I felt was grounding me, as well as I moved into the winter months and transitioned into that. And just kind of keeping things simple really helped too. Focusing on my business, booking bands, and I took a couple months off from doing videos here. It's been a couple months since I did a video, and still playing music and writing songs a little bit. So keeping up with creativity. However, just being in the mundane of booking bands and showing up for business meetings and going to the gym, and just mainly staying at home. I took a few trips. I went to New Orleans for a weekend for a wedding. I went to Ocean City, Rehoboth on business. But staying home for the most part the last couple months, and I plan to do that for another 2 months until I go back to Costa Rica end of February. And I think that's good. I can't be traveling all the time for months and months and months on end. I get burnt out, and I don't enjoy it. And it's good to be home. It's good to be with family. It's good to be with friends. I love where I live. I live on a farm, 5 acres, and so I hope this helps for you guys out there that are like maybe exploring consciousness and doing deep meditation and yoga, or traveling a bit. Just remember to have a balance of being grounded and having like a solid foundation, and keeping things simple. Because for me, like I tend to complicate things, or not necessarily complicate things, but I tend to do a lot. I tend to travel. I tend to have many different activities and hobbies, and lots of different networks of people that I connect with. And I got to remember that I got to take time for myself, to be grounded, to be at home, to just be in one place. Tonight I'm just taking it easy. I'm not going out on New Year's Eve. I'm just staying home and setting my intentions for 2018 and doing some reflection on this past year, and that's totally okay. We get to choose our own experience. So with that, my name's Dave Mascatello, signing off. Planetary awareness. Happy New Year, everybody. Peace.